Welcome to Wildflower Studio. This is our flower of the month for March, the Daffodil. And I am going to show you how to assemble it today. So the first thing that we're going to begin with is tinning all of our pieces. And that is the process of applying solder to your pieces before you put them together. And this is traditionally used in three-dimensional building, a few other applications, but not very traditional to two-dimensional building. So keep that in mind. Your pieces won't fit if you tin them ahead of time in most two-dimensional stained glass art. And we have to put flux on this little blob too. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides of all of my pieces. This is kind of what you would think of as assembly line production. It is a really, really efficient way to get your pieces done. And even more importantly than that, it is a really efficient way to make sure everything gets covered and that you don't miss anything because you're going to proceduralize it. And that just tends to be helpful overall. So let's go ahead and get our solder going. Nice and smooth on every piece. Be sure not to pull your hand up. We don't want to make sharp little points, so nothing where you're coming up. You just want to stay nice and smooth. We want to give our foil 0 reasons to come off of our glass because it just might have its own nefarious MO that it wants to come off the glass. So we don't want to heat it too much, and we want to make sure it's really nice and tight whenever we put it on our glass in the first place. And if you want to know more about that, check out one of our foiling videos, our how-to foil. And that will give you a nice in-depth guide into how to foil and how to deal with funky little things, little corners or curves, and getting your copper foil really, really straight where you begin and end so that your overlaps are also straight, which results in less trimming. Okay, we're going to do that blob last. So let's go ahead and turn all of our pieces over. Now, the cool thing here is if you do this in the right direction, you're always going to be working with pieces that are cooled down. And it's not because I'm particular, it's because it's helpful to my hands. So I'm going to start right back where I started in the first place. And that piece is cool and I don't have a problem touching it at all. Remember, if your iron has a little black on it, let's just go ahead and clean it off. So really make sure that you get your solder all the way around. This is the perfect time to take your time, and it will not cost you time later. Okay, and then we're going to do these little middle petals. And always remember, you can move your art to you. So your petals do not need to stay in one position. You can turn them around. You can turn your art around as you work on it. Okay, so come back to the beginning. That's this guy right here. And it's not too hot to hold at all. It's very comfortable. So I'm just going to do those outside edges. Again, work with gravity. We joke in our classes that it always wins. Sometimes we say really terrible dad jokes, like it'll always let you down. But you want to work with it because you want your solder to drop onto your board, not onto your hand. down to the last flower petal. Okay, and then this is the center of our daffodil. If you like this flower, we have a flower every single month. You can do a subscription for the entire year. That will earn you a discount, or you can do it month by month. And we ship these to you every month at the same time. If you did the subscription, you would have a 12 flower bouquet at the end of your year of stained glass that you can keep or give, whatever you want to do with it. Okay, so this blob, I really like to use my pliers because this sucker is hot to work with and really, really small. So it is inherently difficult. Okay. So if you have a set of handy helpers, this would be helpful. You do not have to use them, but it is helpful if you do. So what we're going to do for this one is, this is going to be, if you think of the center of the daffodil, this is going to be the center of our daffodil right here. So we're going to assemble that separately. There's the center. So what we want to do is we want it to attach kind of in this fashion. So we're going to put 3 pieces together. We want to line them up so that they make a triangle. And if you have a jig, you can use a jig. If you don't, you get the angle as close as you think it needs to be, and you go from there. And that was a pretty good angle, you guys. So we can use that. That's very nice. And we'll just attach our next one. And what's really nice in stained glass is you just need a tack, just a tiny little bit of solder to get it attached, and then you can work it, which is really, really nice. So I'm going to hold these 3 pieces in my pliers, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in all the way around because I want to give this a really, really nice smooth finish look. And then I'm watching for my, there we go, for my solder to completely solidify. All right, same thing there. Okay, so that's our center. We're going to set that. And the way that this flower is built is around this little nugget. So we're going to have 3 petals that are flat. So you need to think of that. And interestingly enough, it looks like a really, really pretty little trillium when it's like this, but we're going to attach the other flowers to it. So just think of thirds, and that's what you want to do with this guy, is get them somewhere in thirds. So tack, tack, and one more tack. And then these pieces are going to go as such. So they're going to be angled up a little bit more. And again, you want to try to achieve that same angle. So really, if you use the same finger and you hold it in the same spot on the petal, you're going to achieve a really, really similar angle all the way around. And same thing again. I'm going to take that little blob off of there. And here we go. Let's attach this guy. Okay, so we have that angled all the way around. And then we want to attach this over top. And we will achieve that by building what we call solder bridges. And it is exactly what you think. It's just a little bridge of solder that attaches things together. right, so we have a tack, and we're going to do this all the way around. And then we will be able to smooth this out and attach it to our stem. And I do like to fill in down here because I like to capture that light in the blob so you really see the green coming through. All right, pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and smooth anything that we need to smooth. We might have a little bit of solder hanging out, and let's go back here and tighten all of this up. Okay, so I want to take a look, see if there's anything else that I don't like on there. I think I want that little guy smoother. And then we're going to go ahead and attach our stem to the back. And you can do this in any location, any way that you want, whatever makes you happy. I think that I'm going to go right there. And be sure to apply flux to your wire. Again, wire likes to heat up and act a little bit difficult. So you want to make sure that you get your wire right. And the idea is you want your wire to heat up and you want to apply your solder over the sides and the top. And that is our daffodil for the month of March. Thanks for making a flower with us.